Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we have a treat for you guys. As you can see behind me, we had the vet up on the lift, continuing the last episode where we went over the Camaro digital cluster install. And today we'll be installing the long tube headers. Stay tuned, make sure you hit that follow, subscribe, and share button, and let's get to it. All right, so here's the box for my headers. We got them from Speed Engineering. I went with the 2-inch long tube headers and their off-road X pipe. So we'll pop this open, spread it out on the ground, have you guys give you guys like a quick look, and then we'll go from there. So I'm guessing this is long tube headers in that box, and then X pipe here, or vice versa, whatever. We'll take a look. Down here though, and this is for a separate video, we have an AA supercharger kit for my C7 Vet. Now, even though I'm still going to be running stock internals, overall end goal for this car, for now, for the time being, is going to be maybe 600, 650 to the wheels. We'll work on that, right? Eventually, I want to get a cam. Haven't decided what I want to get for a cam yet. I need to swap out the upper intake manifold. I'm thinking like the BTR intake. I don't know. We'll figure it out later on. But I do have other goods here, such as, obviously we need a wideband. Ignore all this dust, man. I was drilling up on the wall, adding stuff. We have RX ceramic plugs, so coil plugs. And there's actually, there's a ton of stuff here. I still have more stuff to unpack as well, but we'll get to it. Let me pop these open and we'll go from there. All right, so took them out of the box. Long tube headers, X pipe, and all the hardware for the X pipe. Now I'm surprised too, because typically, at least this is what I read in the forums, right? For the manual cars, so this is an M7. You have to reuse the existing hangers, but this came with the hanger hardware. So interesting, great. Yo, aren't these pretty? These are so pretty. Now I know what some of you guys are gonna say about these from Speed Engineering. I know in the past when these first came out, they had fitment issues to the point where on here, like if you look at the flange on the end, right, we would have to drill the hole larger, but they've already corrected that issue. And we're talking years ago. I think this is like 2018, 2019, or 2017, something like that, right? Like years ago. And I actually know a few people who bought the same headers I did, same size, the 2-inch instead of the 1 7/8, and no fitment issues at all. So I'm really confident that this install is going to go pretty well. Now, the other thing I was going to point out, which I like about these, and this is on the X pipe, is the fact that it already comes with a bung ready to install a wideband. And the welds are pretty good. I can see that holding up. And it's funny because I was just about to buy, well, I probably have like maybe like 4 spare bungs that I was going to try to figure out where to mount them and weld them on, or just cut a hole through it, because they have different types of bungs nowadays. Some that are no weld. Don't know how well those hold up, but I'm always a fan of welding. Now, for all of you do-it-yourselfers like me, make sure you grab a pair of these. Buy them off Amazon. It's like 15 bucks for a box. Thor Grip heavy duty nitro gloves. These are pretty much oil slick and liquid resistant. And on top of that, I mean, it's hard to do with one hand, right? But it's very hard to rip these. And that's a problem that me working on my cars, I've had with different types of gloves over the years. Now, it's not that I'm marketing these guys or anything. This is like a generic brand as far as I know. But these gloves have really come in clutch for me. So yeah, that's just another tip there. For you do-it-yourselfers, if you're wrenching around, these will come in handy. Now, different install videos had different ways to approach this, right? I'm definitely gonna have to take out these valve covers. So I'll probably do that next. Well, I might not do it in order, right? I'll take out the valve covers on both ends. The fuse box, let's walk over here. The fuse box, I'm gonna have to pop this out so I can get more space on the passenger side to remove the bolts to the stock manifold. And this comes out pretty, you know, fairly simple. It's literally just lifting this up and then popping out the clips for the most part. So I'm gonna get that done. And then next up, what most of the videos say to do is to start taking this apart. So I'm gonna remove all those bolts. And one of the main tips that I see across the board is to remove all the bolts except for these two middle ones, right? So that guy right there and this guy right here. Reason being, once you take off all the bolts on this thing, I don't know how many bolts it is. It's like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Well, it's like 20 bolts, right? For the most part, you can just slide this thing off. Yeah, and I guess the way that this was designed, thank you Chevy for finally giving us something that we can use, is so that this whole plate, if you're doing it yourself like I'm doing it right now, it just doesn't fall on you. So you can just slide it out once you take off all the bolts. So I'll take care of that right now in the video. I'm just gonna fast forward. I'm not gonna go through all that because again, tons of videos on that. No need to reinvent the wheel, but I'll go ahead, take that apart, and then we'll start attempting to remove my stock cats and headers, or the stock manifold, I should say. On that note, I'm going to keep the stock NPP system for now, so stock exhaust. You know, down the road, I'll upgrade that down the road. But I've seen videos, and I've actually heard Vettes that have long tube headers and are even boosted on the stock mufflers, and you know, they sound great, so I'm not worried from that respect. But yeah, let's get this done, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Whee! Hey, thank God for creepers. All right, so for the most part, these are all 13mm bolts, with the exception of these two right here, which are 18mm. But I've taken all the bolts off, except for these two here. I let them in place. You can see that this is literally just hanging there, so I'm about to take this off. Put the camera down. Nice. Nice and easy. And let's see what we got here. All right, so I'm gonna take apart these hangers. I'm hoping that the previous owner did not weld these on. I've seen some people do that. So those clamps should just hold them together, kind of like these. I'll remove the cats as much as I can. I'm gonna take out this drain valve, preload the oil filter, put it back on, and then get this out of the way so I have plenty of space to work in. But other than that, let's see. And then I might as well just go ahead and run the O2 sensor for the wideband too. Now what they suggest when you install long tube headers is to also get two O2 sensor extensions for the front. You wouldn't do that for the rear or the downstream sensors because again, the whole purpose is to get rid of them, which you just tune out through HP tuners or you know whatever program your tuner uses. But yeah, let's get that done. Alright guys, progress update. We got the passenger side header in, and I went ahead, let's see if I can zoom in. These are the stock plugs, the LTR 51Xs, but since I'm gonna go boosted soon, I decided to go one step colder. So we went with the LTR 71X or 7iX-11s. These are pre-gapped at 0.040, and these are one step colder. So I've been reading on the forums, apparently I can run that specific gap, so the 0.040 up until like 14 PSI of boost. And then at that point, it becomes a problem, but we're not gonna be there. I'll probably be running like 8 or 9 pounds of boost at max. But anyways, here's the old plugs too. I'm gonna go ahead and swap out for these. I got some short ceramic plugs from RX Performance in Palmetto, Florida. They're actually the guys that work on my Camaro, or actually rebuilt my my Camaro engine, so they have good products. But yeah, we're making some progress. And that aside, these are the gaskets that came with the headers. Instead of using these from Speed Engineering, I went ahead and got official GM multi-layer gaskets for a better seal. So, yep, let's keep it up. Okay guys, quick update. Headers are in on both sides. And now we're gonna tackle the X-pipe. That looks so pretty. Just make sure that when you install your headers, if you ever go about it, you get extensions. I mean, they say just use the extensions for the rear if you want to retain the rear. No point. When you do long tube headers, you're getting rid of the cats anyways. So, you know, there's no point to retain the rear, right? Technically, I did a quick measure, and the front O2 sensors with the wiring, it fits, right, without the extensions. But just to be on the safe side, I didn't want any wires rubbing or anything like that. So I went ahead, bought extensions, installed them, plugged everything in. Up to this point, it is a good idea to start up the car, which I did earlier, like a few minutes ago, just to make sure that there aren't any major issues. So it turns on just fine. I didn't hear any leaks up front. I heard all the exhaust noise coming from here, obviously. Good to go. So what I want to do later is I'm going to take some zip ties. I'm going to zip tie these extensions out of the way, as far away from the headers as I can, you know, just to avoid heat. And then, yeah, we'll continue this install. So I'll install the X-pipe, and before I put the lower cover back on, obviously, turn on the car, rev it a few times. I'll get you guys a video of the cold start, and then, yeah, we'll go from there. I guess what I should do too now is I did a measurement, and turns out that the little hooks are hangers to hold up the X-pipe. Because mine's a standard, right? It's an M7. I am gonna have to take the stock ones off the stock pipe. So I'll go ahead and do that now, and then yeah, get you guys an updated video once it's all in there and we can do a cold start. All right guys, we are all set. Got the view from the headers, straight to the X-pipe. No cats, straight to the end, good to go. So for manual cars, when it comes to this little hinge, the only thing that you need to swap out from your stock one is the bracket up here. That's it, just that bracket. So the X-pipe does come with the, you know, the rubber grommet, and it comes with like one of these. Let me see, one of these little adapters. So on their mounting bracket, it's a little different. So you would mount this to that bracket, and then, well, you know, the sides. So the sides to the bracket, and then the tops to the car, just like that. But yeah, overall, easy install. I'm gonna turn this on real quick, then put that plate back on. Although I could probably put the plate first, because I'm confident that this is all good to go, no leaks or anything. Now, what I will tell you guys is it is a tight fit. So some guys, they'll leave the long tube headers loose up front, put all the piping, and then tightening it down. What I did was I actually tightened down the long tube headers just so I was done with the engine bay, right? And I started from the left to the right towards the back side of the car. So I put in the little sliding pieces that connect to the X-pipe first. Then I connected the 3-inch to 2.75-inch adapters at the end, and I kind of pulled all this down to force it into place. This section right here at the end of the X-pipe is where I made the connection. And then the 2 bolts here for the mount, I put these on last. So I did have to bang out the end a little, bang it out to get the whole piping to move forward and insert correctly. But overall, good to go. Another tip too is for your bolts, bolt them up with so the actual hex bolt, have it facing down. Don't have like the screw facing up. Have the hex bolt on the bottom side. Because what happens is if you screw it any other way, you're gonna have to take it off like I did. I went through this twice. Had to take them off, flip it around, and insert. So right now I have plenty of space for the bracket of the plate on the bottom of the car. So just an FYI.